VHS Russian doppelganger tapes. I just watched a very odd found footage tape shot near my hometown. But before I start, let me say a few things. Number one, I don't speak English. I live in Ukraine, and a friend of mine translated this for me, and even still, he's studying. Number two, before you ask, no, I won't be telling you names, websites, at least their native names anyway. Nor will I reveal the identities. The police so far either don't know or they're not telling us otherwise. But here is the story of the VHS Russian doppelganger tapes. I'm going to make what I have to say here quick. Not because my life is in danger, well, maybe. But because there's not a whole lot to say. I'm not here to waste time, talk about my childhood or my family. None of that matters here. I came from a small town in northern Ukraine called Sarny, close to the Belarusian border. Growing up, I've always been interested in film, more specifically found footage style films, real or fictional, which means I've taken quite a liking to the horror, the found footage genre. It's been that way ever since I first saw the Blair Witch Project. A downside to this, I'm left watching subtitle versions of English films, or as my country does frequently, bad dubs and voiceovers. But I digress. Anyway, before I tell you the reason you all came here and clicked, you want to hear this story, don't you? No, I don't find this off of some obscure dark web website. All that's nonsense. You'd be surprised with how much you can get away with here on the surface. I found it on a website where Russians and Belarusians and Ukrainians would share old videos from the Soviet days. It ranged from stuff such as home videos, news broadcasts, old Soviet TV shows, and of course, good old-fashioned propaganda. Basically, if YouTube was around during the USSR, this is what it would look like. So the video in question was titled Opening. It was in Russian, so I clicked on the video and it started with a group of people, 4, plus a cameraman driving down a pitch black old dirt road. The timestamp was dated 1978, and much to my surprise, the people in the vehicle were actually conversing in Ukraine. It wasn't just that, though. It was what they were talking about, discussing some criminal act. Here's a transcript of video. The audio is a bit glitched, but of course the video was fine. So please excuse this technical difficulty, but you have to hear this.
I can't believe they still haven't found the bodies, man. Hey, don't worry. It's not like the authorities here are very competent. Hey, man, you should let me take out the next one. It's not like here in a small town like Sarny, anyone's gonna notice.
That, of course, caught my attention, piqued my curiosity at the thought I was watching a recording by a group of serial killers that just happened to be operating in my hometown. I found myself agreeing with what the last guy said. Why haven't they heard about these bodies? I mean, obviously they had done this before. After that, though, they began to talk about their personal lives, and I started to lose interest. I really got bored with it all. So I skipped forward, finally stopped when something very interesting happened. The camera focused on a man with his hands in his jacket pocket walking down the road. The car slowly came to a stop. After the man in the passenger seat handed someone in the back a tire iron, both the man wielding the tire iron and the cameraman got out of their car. The one with the iron ran up to the other man and hit him in the back of the head, using all his force. The sound of the blow was as disgusting as you'd think it would be. Then, of course, he fell down, blood pooling all around his face. The killer and the cameraman quickly rushed back into the car and drove off. I, like most people, would be sickened thinking about this. But I was about to change the video, but then something else happened. The killer stumbled upon another person walking down the road.
Hey, can you believe it, man? Luck's finally on her side. 2 bodies in the same day. In this isolated area, that's crazy. Hey, wait a minute. Doesn't he look like the guy we just hit a few minutes ago? Oh, man, it's probably just a coincidence. Hey, don't let him get too far. I want to hit another one. Real bad.
Oh, I'm sure you do. Oh, I'm sure you do. With that, they stopped and repeated what happened with the last man, except for one detail. When the killer swung the tire iron, it broke into 2 upon impact, and his skull without so much as a flinch from the victim. No visible damage, so it wasn't like he was in pain, numbing drugs, or anything like that. His intention, then he slowly turned around, and I had to pause to make sure what I was seeing correctly. But sure enough, it was the man they had just killed only a few minutes ago. Every detail identical. After clicking resume, the man's lips then curled into an evil smirk. Before the video ends, no credits, no screams of horror. It just stops right there. My disgust then turned into curiosity, then excitement upon remembering the title, The Opening. As an opening scene, maybe. This is almost 20 years before the Blair Witch Project. If this indeed is a lost film from the Soviet times, and not only is the first ever found footage film, not what we had all thought it was, but it was also shot in my country, my language, my town. No wonder this was lost. Soviet authorities would never allow this to be released. All the comments were full of Russians asking what the film is called, where the uploader found it, or asking to have Ukrainian translated into Russian. He, however, to my disappointment, never answered the first 2. Now, if it wasn't for the discovery and what happened the next day, I wouldn't be here telling you this story. But after that, when I was driving home from work, I had several police cars, an ambulance cross me, and then I followed one of them. They stopped at the entrance to the dirt road that looked exactly like the one featured in the video. The crime scene was already set. Several forensic workers and police officers were searching the woods nearby. I continued on my way to look into what's happening in a few hours, and after due to the isolated area, I was probably one of the first civilians to stumble across the scene. Anyway, before I went to sleep, I got on the laptop. Still on the video, it was different. There was a description now. It was simply a link that led to the news site, leading to some newspaper based out of Kiev, with the title, Sarny Police Discover Human Skeletons in an Isolated Part of the Woods. The article barely gave any information, but had a link leading to a local newspaper that discussed it. The police weren't revealing much, but what they had revealed, they had found 7 human skeletons dating back to the 70s. 6 male, 1 female. They tell the press that they believe it's foul play due to the head wounds they found on the skulls, and, well, this is what unnerves me. They also recovered what they believed to be the murder weapon. They recovered a broken tire iron with dried blood on it and an old handheld camera. The contents of the footage had not been revealed. They also found an old rusted car in the ditch on the same road the video was recorded in. Due to the age of the corpses in the cars, the police believe it's all connected some way, and they also had to admit that the car did not end up in the ditch by accident. I just stay frozen, refreshing the article, rereading it several times in disbelief. This can't be a coincidence. What they stumbled upon had to be what I saw on that old tape recording in the 70s. And if that's true, then who was that person? That smile, those eyes. Was he even human? At the end of the video, no ordinary human would be able to just shrug off a blow like that. Not only that, but mentioned above, he was identical to the person they killed first. Unless they were twins, or something seriously wrong is going on here. I'm not sure what happened. But as the people in the video and the old saying goes, ignorance is bliss.